For more than 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood in silence. No machine sounds, no written manual, no clear explanation, just millions of limestone blocks stacked with terrifying precision in the middle of the Egyptian desert. And for centuries, one question has haunted historians, engineers, archaeologists, and ordinary people around the world: how did they build this? But today the mystery is changing because modern technology is doing something that was impossible for thousands of years. It is looking inside the pyramid without breaking a single stone. The story begins with the Great Pyramid of Khufu, built during Egypt's 4th dynasty, around 2580 to 2550 BCE. It was originally nearly 146 meters tall. Its base measured around 230 meters on each side, and it was made from several million massive limestone blocks. But here's what makes it almost unbelievable. The foundation was leveled with a margin of error of only a few centimeters across more than 200 meters. The pyramid was also aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal directions: north, south, east, west. This was not random. This was not primitive. This was advanced planning, advanced surveying, and advanced organization on a scale that still challenges modern imagination. For a long time, people believed the answer was simple: brute force, tens of thousands of workers, huge ramps, ropes, sledges, stone by stone, dragged slowly into place. But the more researchers studied the pyramid, the more difficult that explanation became. A giant external ramp would have needed to be enormous. Some estimates suggest it could have stretched far beyond the Giza Plateau itself. It would have required almost as much planning as the pyramid, and yet there are no clear traces of such a massive ramp, so the mystery remained. Then came ScanPyramids, an international scientific mission launched in 2015, using non-invasive technologies to scan the Egyptian pyramids from the inside. And one of the most important tools they used sounds like science fiction: muon tomography. Muons are tiny particles created when cosmic rays from space hit Earth's atmosphere. They pass through stone, but depending on how dense the material is, they pass through differently. So by tracking these particles, scientists can detect hidden spaces inside massive structures. In simple words, the universe itself is helping us scan the pyramids. And what did scientists find? A hidden corridor. Inside the Great Pyramid of Khufu, near the main entrance, researchers discovered a previously unknown corridor that had been hidden for thousands of years. It measured roughly 9 meters long and about 2 meters wide. The scans suggested it was there, but scans alone were not enough. So archaeologists found a tiny opening between the stones and inserted a small endoscopic camera. And then came the confirmation: the corridor was real. A secret space inside one of the most studied monuments on Earth had been hiding in plain sight for 4,500 years. But this discovery opened an even bigger question. Why was the corridor built? Was it a structural chamber? Was it designed to reduce pressure inside the pyramid? Or does it lead to something else? A chamber? A passage? Maybe even a hidden burial space? Because there is one fact that continues to disturb Egyptologists: Khufu's mummy has never been found. Inside the king's chamber, the sarcophagus was empty. For some, this means the tomb was robbed long ago, but for others, it raises a more dramatic possibility. What if Khufu was never buried there? What if the real burial chamber is still hidden somewhere inside the pyramid? The document also mentions another major mystery: the so-called Big Void. Detected in 2017, this large empty space appears above the Grand Gallery, one of the most famous internal passages of the pyramid. But researchers still do not agree on what it is. Is it a construction space, a relieving chamber, a hidden corridor, or something intentionally sealed? The mystery becomes even more intense when we look at the Menkaure Pyramid, the smallest of the 3 main pyramids at Giza. Researchers detected 2 air-filled cavities inside the structure. These anomalies may support an old theory that the pyramid could have a second entrance. Imagine that. For thousands of years, people may have looked at the same pyramid from the outside without realizing that another entrance could be hidden within its stone body. And this is where the story becomes bigger than archaeology, because the pyramids are no longer being studied only with brushes and shovels. They are being studied with physics, with radar, with ultrasound, with electrical resistivity, with infrared thermography, with artificial intelligence. Every technique reveals a different layer of the mystery. Muon tomography can detect deep internal voids. Ground-penetrating radar can identify shallower structures. Ultrasound can reveal changes inside the stone. Electrical resistivity can suggest hidden cavities. Infrared imaging can detect temperature differences on the surface. One method alone may not be enough, but together they create a new image of the pyramid. Not as a simple tomb, but as a complex machine of stone, geometry, and hidden engineering. And then comes the most fascinating idea. What if the pyramid was built using systems hidden inside the pyramid itself? Some recent theories suggest that ancient builders may have used internal ramps, counterweights, pulley-like systems, or integrated edge ramps built directly into the pyramid structure. In other words, the pyramid may not only be the final monument, it may also contain the remains of the method used to build it. That idea changes everything, because for centuries, we imagined workers dragging blocks up huge ramps from the outside. But what if the real construction system was partly inside the monument? What if the pyramid was both the tomb and the machine? Another crucial part of the story is the Nile. A 2024 study mapped an ancient branch of the Nile, sometimes called the Ahrimat branch, which once flowed near many pyramid sites. This helps explain how heavy materials could be transported. Local limestone came from the Giza Plateau, but fine white Tura limestone and granite from Aswan had to travel long distances. Without water transport, this would have been almost impossible. So the pyramid was not just a construction project. It was a national system: quarries, canals, workers, surveyors, engineers, transport routes, food supply, mathematics, astronomy, leadership. Everything had to work together, and now the world is waiting for what may come next. According to the document, a major announcement has been anticipated for 2026 connected to new imaging results inside the Great Pyramid. Some believe it may reveal another hidden structural feature. Others wonder if it could point toward a sealed chamber, and if a sealed royal burial were ever discovered inside the Great Pyramid, it would be one of the greatest archaeological events in modern history, maybe even comparable to the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922. But even if no treasure is found, the real treasure may be something deeper. Understanding how a civilization 4,500 years ago organized people, materials, geometry, and engineering to create a monument that still dominates human imagination today. The Great Pyramid is not silent anymore. It is being scanned, measured, modeled, decoded, and every new discovery tells us the same thing. The ancient Egyptians were not simply moving stones. They were solving problems at a scale that still challenges us today. So the next time you see the pyramids, do not just see monuments in the desert. See a message written in limestone, a message that survived kings, empires, wars, and centuries of sand. And maybe, after 4,500 years, we are only now beginning to read it. Because the greatest secret of the Great Pyramid may not be what is hidden inside. It may be the intelligence that built it.